So on the 19th of June, there's going to be a presidential election in Colombia between a left-wing guy named Gustavo Petro and a right-wing guy named Rodolfo Hernandez. And we don't need to talk about Petro because it's not interesting, okay? So there's an interesting thing about this election, and it's not that. The interesting thing about this election is my man here, blue eyes, blonde haired white guy. Why is he next to Hitler? I wonder why. Could it be that because he has said in the past that he was a faithful follower of Adolf Hitler? Yes, it could. That's what he said. He announced himself to be a faithful follower of Adolf Hitler. He said that he was a follower of a great German thinker, Adolf Hitler.
Pero al justiprecio. Pero a mí me ha enseñado la vida, todos los de la mesa y a usted, Yolanda, que es la directora del programa, que yo soy seguidor de un gran pensador alemán.
¿Cuál
que
es?
se llama Adolfo Hitler.
¿Cómo así, alcalde?
Escuche, en las recomendaciones que da, no pretenda que las cosas cambien si siempre hacemos lo mismo.
He says that he's a follower of Hitler because Hitler doesn't act like things change if we always do the same thing.
La mejor bendición que le puede pasar a personas, ciudades y países es la crisis, porque la crisis trae progresos.
He says the best thing that can happen to like people, cities, and countries is a crisis because crisis brings progress. He's clearly, like unironically, actually, he meant to say that he was a follower of Hitler. You know, with the follow-up, it's obvious that he meant Hitler, right? No doubt about it. You don't say that like Hitler recognized that he could take advantage of a crisis and that's good, unless you mean Hitler. But his cover story is that he meant Albert Einstein. And he says, when I said Hitler, I wanted to say Einstein. I'm pretty sure the guy who wrote this article is like trying to cover for him here, but that's so funny. When did Einstein say that you need to take advantage of a crisis to seize power or something? When? How is it possible that someone accidentally says Adolf Hitler instead of Albert Einstein and then goes on to describe Adolf Hitler perfectly for like 5 minutes straight? Einstein solved the special relativity crisis, man. That's clearly what he meant, okay? Einstein took advantage of the crisis of the problem of relativity, of physics, okay? Nothing to do with anything else. That's what he meant. Hold on, I want to listen to the rest of this to see if he goes even more explicit into it.
Es en la crisis donde se resuelven los grandes problemas de la humanidad.
Yeah, he said, it's in crisis that we fix the greatest problems of humanity. He's clearly talking about Hitler. Like, he thinks that Hitler, like, took advantage of a crisis to fix the problems of humanity. That's what he's fucking saying here. This guy is neck and neck with the leftist candidate in the fucking Colombian election second round, which is in a week, on the 19th of June. Unironic Adolf Hitler guy. Unironic real Adolf Hitler guy. He just keeps saying the same fucking shit, like, about crisis, but I want to see if the interviewer responds.
Que es nuestra propia cobardía e incapacidad de resolverla.
Por aquí me está soplando Jorge Espinosa que esa frase también la dijo ¿quién? ¿Espinosa en Bogotá?
Sí, Einstein también insistía lo mismo, que una definición posible de la estupidez humana es que usted tratara de hacer lo mismo una y otra vez esperando resultados distintos. Y por cierto, alcalde, Hitler no fue ningún pensador de nada, pues.
Pues mejor hacer...
The interviewers like immediately tried to cover for him by saying that he was actually talking about Einstein. He must have been talking about Einstein.
Bueno, de esos consejos sí.
Sí. O sea, un poco lo que...
fue un asesino, yo sé.
Lo que dice Espinosa es, alcalde, de pronto mejor le va citando a Einstein.
Sí. Bueno, pues mejor hacer referencia a Einstein
de
que a Hitler.
esos consejos sí.
Sí. O sea, un poco lo que...
fue un asesino, yo sé.
No. He was talking about Hitler because he said there he was a murderer. I know. He was a murderer. I know, and he still doesn't care. So it's obvious that he was talking about Hitler. Otherwise, why the fuck would he say that? Was Einstein a murderer?
Lo que dice Espinosa es, alcalde, de pronto mejor le va citando a Einstein.
Sí.
Bueno,
claro.
es lo que dicen, que hizo más o menos el mismo planteamiento. Pero bueno.
Yeah, they're just trying to cover for him by saying that he's actually referring to like Spinoza and Einstein. When he said Adolf Hitler, and then he went on to say that, yeah, he knows that Adolf Hitler was a murderer, but he doesn't care. Yeah, they tried to cover for him so fucking hard there. The interviewer is like, "Oh, you must have meant this, you must have meant that," and then he's like, "No, I know that he was a murderer. I don't care." So yeah, this is the guy who the left is going up against in Colombia, and the polls are neck and neck. Let me see.
Communism is based.
One poll has Hitler guy winning by quite a bit. Another poll has Hitler guy. Remember, these are right-wing polls, so they might be off a bit, but they also might not be. I don't know how the polls are in Colombia. Another poll has Hitler guy winning. Another poll has left guy winning. Another poll has Hitler guy winning. I mean, they're basically neck and neck with like a slight edge to the guy who says that he follows Adolf Hitler. So yeah, this is very interesting. Colombia may vote for an Adolf Hitler president. I'm not sure that that's a good thing. I would say that generally you don't want presidents who are followers of Adolf Hitler. Generally, it's a bad look to follow Adolf Hitler. Generally, you want to not follow Adolf Hitler. I think I can say that pretty uncontroversially. So in my opinion, it would be bad if the guy who follows Adolf Hitler and admits to it openly and is like, "Oh yeah, he was a murderer. It's okay. I still like his ideology." It's probably a bad thing if that guy becomes the president of a country. It might be a bit of an issue. I'm not really optimistic about the Colombian election, unfortunately. I think Petro is probably going to lose because it's
Communism
a
is
country
based.
completely dominated by right-wing everything, right-wing media. You can't get away from the right-wing propaganda. It's never ever had a left-wing president. And if there's any country in Latin America that would elect a Hitler supporter before it would elect a left-winger, it's Colombia.
I'm consuming.
So sad and bad, sad and bad.